okay. It's better to give than to receive. That's a lesson I actually learned. I learned that lesson. I was between the ages of 5 and 7 years old, because that's the school I went to. And let me tell you the story of how this started. So I was a little kid, and my parents gave me $2 as an allowance. And I had that $2, and I went to school, and in the cafeteria they had all these little candies that you could buy. They were in jars, and they had pretzels, and it was like everything was between 1 cent and 2 cents. So $2 was worth a lot of money back then. And unfortunately, I wasn't that street smart. Like I said, I actually started kindergarten at 4 years old, and we moved when I was 7. And that's when I stopped going to school. So anywhere between 4 or 5 years old and 7 years old is when this happened. So I wasn't street smart. I hold my $2 up, and kids are all looking at me because nobody had $2 back then. And so kids started asking me to buy candy, and I said, okay, cool. So they would get this, they would just grab some candy, and I'd pay. And so probably about 50 kids, it seemed like 50, they just flocked around me, and I kept buying the candy. And then when I started getting down to almost, not that much money, I bought like about 30 of these, 20 some of those pretzels, sticks, big pretzels. And I was holding them like this, and kids would just come and take one. And, and here's the thing. And then eventually I just had one, and I thought I was going to keep that for myself. And I'm holding one pretzel like this, and some kid comes, and snaps it right out of my hand. So I spent my whole $2, and I didn't have one piece of candy, didn't have one pretzel. All I had was, and all these people that I thought liked me, they all disappeared, and I was standing there alone with no candy, no money, by myself. I think that was an interesting lesson, but I was a very, very smart kid and so consciously aware. I mean, in fact, one day when I was only probably about 6 years old, I was in a sandbox my dad built, in the backyard. And I was sitting there looking up at a tree, and I'm going, what am I doing playing in the sandbox when I could be doing really important stuff? And I was thinking that, and I'm going, well, maybe I should just enjoy the sand, But I was pretty bright, pretty observant. Now, a lot of people would have learned a lesson saying, people are greedy, people are bad, don't give to them. But I learned the opposite. I learned that valuable lesson that it's better to give than to receive. And that's what I gained out of it. So my whole life, I've always given as much as I can. And let me tell you, I have given away everything I've owned 3 times in my life. And I don't like to be burdened by things. And when I was a little kid, I used to have all these little possessions that I liked. And I would go through, we call them our junk drawers, where we kept all our things, that little toys and little things like little pocket knives and all kinds of little things like that. And I'd go through it periodically, and I'd get rid of stuff. I just couldn't handle having too much. And I would just like, it was like hard to give it, but I give it away, but I would do it and get rid of it, and it always made me feel better. And that's why you need to understand, give to receive, give to receive. And like I said, I gave away everything I own 3 times in my life. And these were possessions, and I didn't have as much as I have now, but there were things like, I gave away over $2,000 of scuba gear. I just gave it to my cousin. I said, here, man, because I was living in Chicago, and I would come down here, and I just said, hey, you take it. And I would just give whatever I had. I gave away my pride. I had guitars that I really loved, and I was always playing guitars. And I was starting to get okay, and I used to write a lot of songs and stuff like that, but I gave my guitars away. I gave everything I had except for the clothes on my back. And what I found is every time I give, more comes back. You see, when you give out, you create a vacuum. When you give out, you create a vacuum. And that vacuum gets filled. The universe, higher powers, whatever you want to call it, will give what you need. See, it's better to give than receive. And to receive, you need to give. And people cling and they hold on too tight. So today, I'm in a situation where I downsized from a larger house. I'm living in the smallest place I practically ever lived in my life since I was maybe in college. And it's a tiny home. I consider it a tiny home. It's on a big size of tiny home. It's a 2-bedroom, 925 square feet. So, and I downsized from a gas guzzler to a more efficient van. And in the process, I have a lot of things. My house is cluttered, and I have 2 storage units, and I have things that I need to sell because they're worth a lot of money. I have decoy ducks. I've sold some of them like for several $1,000s a piece, and I've got a bunch of them. One I want to sell for like $2,500, another one I want to sell for $3,500, and all kinds of things that I want to sell, but I never get around to it. And sometimes I wind up I just give it away because the sales process drives me crazy, the selling stuff. But when you give, you should receive good feelings. So I like to help people. I like to give. I just give. It just makes me feel good. And I'm going to tell you, every time I do, I get blessed. So today I'm in the process of I'm holding on to this house. I'm holding on to all these things I have. Do I really need all this stuff, man? And it's driving me crazy. It's like a burden on me, and I want to get rid of stuff. And I'm going to start giving away more stuff. But I had these cabinets. They're worth, like $25,000 worth of cabinets. All the fancy cabinets with the glass, I gave those away. I only retained a couple that I'm going to put up in my laundry room above the washer and dryer. And I could have sold them. And I have a friend, she needs money and wants to buy a van. And, it's like, okay, if I could have coordinated with her and did this and she would have had the desire, she could have sold that for maybe $3,000-$4,000. But it would have been very difficult. But I'm just saying. And been wanting to help her for months because she wants a van. I told her, I'll get you a van, but she is currently using drugs, and I just feel so bad for her, and it's like, man, I just wish she would stop. But the reason I can't give her a van is because I think she'd sell it or take the money and maybe use it for drugs, or she would drive that van. She wants to travel and she'd go somewhere, and I know she would connect with the wrong people. That's my feeling. I even tried to figure and talk to her about maybe setting up some kind of trust where the money I donated to her cause was put into that trust so she could buy that van and then have it so she can't sell the van type thing. But it's convoluted. I think right now it's best if she stays here to be with her parents. So I'm in this dilemma, man. I don't know. I'm getting to an age where it's harder to replace it, but I'm getting to the point where there's important projects with veganism that I want to do. I was going to start a vegan cafe. I was going to have a vegan food truck, and then COVID hit. So I'm like, I also was going to travel 6 months overseas for 3 months, in the U.S. for 3 months, and part of it spreading veganism. I have been working on a dog shelter that I've been planning for over almost 10 years or more, but it's big. It's going to house 10,000 dogs, and I'm at the point where I'm processing that and almost trying to get that to function and work. So I got so much on my plate, and so many things have happened in 2020 that have held me back, and I'm feeling overwhelmed because I need that freedom to travel. I need that freedom to start doing powerful things. I need to start getting rid of stuff that is burdening me down. All the stuff I own is starting to weigh me down. That's why I gave those cabinets away instead of trying to sell them, man. I just need to be set free. And here's what's going to happen. I know if I give out, I'm going to get more back in return. I'm going to create that vacuum. I'm going to create that empty space for the universe to fill it and give me blessings. It's just amazing, but I just want to encourage you to give instead of trying to receive. If I go back to that story of when I gave out all that candy, okay, you know what I got back? To see all those happy faces, even for a split second, even though they didn't care about me, I just was like, wow, this is amazing. It was like, did you ever take fish food and throw it into a fish tank or into a river or lake, where there's fish, and you throw it in there and all the fish go, it was like a frenzy, man. I was like, whoa, wow. When I gave that candy out, and I was like, man, I was like a star, and it was like pretty awesome, man. I got a lesson. I got a valuable lesson that lasted my lifetime of giving and receiving, and got blessed so much got blessed through the years beyond my imagination. Now, if I was on the other side, and instead of me giving, and I was there taking a couple little pieces of pennies worth of candy, that's all they got is maybe 2, 3, 4 cents worth of candy. And that candy, they ate it and it was gone. And they gained no lesson. They didn't have the opportunity to learn the valuable lesson that it's better to give than to receive. Sometimes when I give, people think I'm a chump or a sucker, because I give to people, and sometimes they make promises of doing work for me or helping me, and they never show up, or they promise to pay me back, and I never get the money. But I am blessed, and I get an amazing reward in my heart and soul. It's, I'm empathetic. I'm an empath, and some empaths come from codependency, but no, I just give because I have reached to a point where I just feel a lot of love, and most of my love is towards animals, and that's why I'm a vegan. That's why I can't kill them, eat them. That's why I love dogs and cats. I love animals, and I love people. And to be able to give and to help someone, it's a tremendous joy. So, yep, I might be a sucker, I might be a chump, and people may take advantage of me. But listen, I get blessed over and over and over and over again. And there's a chance right now, my dog sanctuary, it's going to be a $5 million project, and there's a chance that I might have $500,000 just coming in for that project. 2021, I am going to start my vegan cafe, and I'm going to start that vegan food truck, and I'm going to continue to push and promote and encourage and help people transition from meat eating, killing, and torturing animals to becoming a loving, fulfilled vegan. So 2021 is going to be an amazing year. And right now, at the end of the tax year, I always give away a certain amount of money. I was going to help that girl with the van, but she's like, it can't happen. So I've got to give out some money now. And I'm giving that away to a family that I found that needs the money really bad. So, sorry, babe, that was your van that I gave away to this family, man. And I think if you knew them, you'd probably say they really needed it. So I just want to say, everybody, give, help other people, help animals, help dogs, help cats, help cows, pigs, chickens, fish, help the planet. Give out. Don't stop giving. You will be fulfilled. You will be blessed. And that's all I want to say today is that You need to give to receive. It's Paul Barrett for Vegan Alliance Network. Be blessed.